Alright, what's up, guys? So today we're going to do the sister, the brother video to yesterday's video, and it's going to be fascinating. Alright, this is about left and right brain, okay? Your brain's cut in half, right? And then there's wires in between that communicate. Left and right brain communicate with each other because they are separate beings, so to speak. So we're going to cover the physical aspect of yesterday's video that was more about the religious, about the inner and outer man. For the record, right? Just something to think about. The inner man, right? That correlates to things. My favorite word is correlate. It really is. Because if you figure something out, you can correlate it and figure something else out, right? Like this. The inner man correlates to above, the man from heaven. It correlates to the right brain, right? Which actually is the woman. So it's not the inner man, but only the flesh is gendered. That's what Galatians 4:20 something is about. Gendered into bondage. It also correlates to the subconscious, the feminine, right? The outer man, the flesh bag, is the man from below, which correlates to the left brain, the ego, consciousness, right? The goal is to marry these two, right? This is the alchemical marriage. Don't hear alchemy and get afraid, because the Bible is about alchemy. It just doesn't say the word alchemy. Most people identify as the left brain, the ego, their fleshly self, right? They think they are this person that functions in this worldly society, and that's not the case. That's not who we are. And that's proven, right? When Jesus says, deny yourself and follow me, deny your fleshly self that fits into this society. Deny that version of yourself that's created by this world. This world is not who you are. You are greater. Greater is he who is in me than he who is in the world, right? So that we what I mean by marriage, right, is this is bring to balance, right? Take control of your life. When you're polarized and your left brain or right brain dominant, then you're not balanced. Balanced is always the key. Always. But when you're balanced, right, conscious and subconscious are one, and you're balanced, you are an individual. You control your destiny, so to speak. Yeah. The subconscious mind, the one that nobody identifies with, that is what creates reality and manifests the desires of the conscious mind, right? God dwells in the woman, and God created everything, and God will give you what you desire, right? Even if you desire delusion and death, He loves you so much, He will give you the delusion and death. So, the reason that the world, this is kind of separate, I'm going to bounce around a lot here, but this is all good information. The reason the world is so messed up right now is because men waxed worse and worse, right? What they desired was wickedness, and so what God gave them was wickedness. They desired comfort and convenience, and they did not measure the costs of these things. And that's what we're seeing now, is the cost of those things. Alright, the left and right brain correlations are important to have, right? Because we can correlate it to everything in reality, the left and the right brain. This is the most basic underlying principles come from here. This is the dualistic nature of reality. This is why nature is dual. For example, right? The brain is halves, right? It weighs 3 pounds total, and it's in a left and a right hemisphere. And then there's the brain stem, which is 3, Trinity. Now, everything in reality is basically an image of this, right? The solar system is an image of this. It's split in half with something like wires in between, right? It's small feminine planets on one side, which is the right, so to speak. But you have to remember that there's an inversion, right? And that comes from the brain. The left brain controls the right body. The right brain controls the left body. So, there's small feminine planets on one side, and then that's the inner, right? The inner side, because this correlates the inner man, and then that's closer to the sun, and then the larger masculine planets, Saturn and Jupiter, those are the outer parts, the bigger outer planets. And these two sets, right? These different things, they're connected in the middle by the asteroid belt, right? And that thing it fires asteroids in both directions. This is an image, right, of the dual-natured brain. It functions and works and appears to be similar, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there's a solar system. I have a pretty unique belief on shapes of planets and space and shit. So, sorry, I lost my spot. This is an image of the dual-natured brain. It's also an image of the glands, right? You got the chakra. Chakra is glands. It's the same thing. When the chakra is activated, that means that the gland is producing the chemicals that it's supposed to produce. When all the glands are producing what they need to produce, when all the chakras are activated, nirvana comes. This is universal. So this is also an image of that, right? There's lower chakras, higher chakras. There's higher and lower glands, right? And those glands, chakras, within the body, that's all part of the nervous system. The nervous system is crucial. But anyway, back to this universe thing, right? The closer to the asteroid belt, right? The asteroid belt is a line, basically. The closer you get to it, hold on, I said that wrong. Skip it. So the sun, right? The sun is the source of all life. All life. If you think there's aliens and shit, they would still, in some way, they couldn't exist without a sun, without light, right? If you exist in complete darkness, do you exist? I guess that's a whole different question. But the closer you get to the sun, the more life there is, right? This is like the equator. The closer you get to the equator, the more life there is. I'll get into this in a second. But coincidentally, right, in order to get to the Son of Man, you must go through war and love, right? It's an internal conflict. And to get to the sun in the sky, you must pass Mars, war, and Venus, love. It's an image. You see what I'm saying? This reality, everything that you see and hear and smell and taste and touch and perceive, it's allegory and it's symbolic for the actuality, like the actual reality. We exist, we are here in an inversion of reality. So the point here is, on one side, right, is the source of all life on Earth, right, which is coincidentally called the sun in physical life and the sun in spiritual life. Allegory, imagery, personification, poetic devices. They're negative images of each other, right? One's physical, one's spiritual. They both exist at the same time, right? And the thing that makes the difference is Are you balanced? Which side of the brain do you use? The source of life is on the feminine side, the loving mother, that thing. And on the masculine side, and remember, the mother feminine side correlates to subconscious, and the masculine side correlates to ego, basically. The closer you get into the masculine side is the closer you get to the void, right? Empty black space, nothing, the void. The tyrannical father, right? That's what the ego is. It's the tyrannical father. Earth is nice, right? It's in the perfect spot. It's nice and balanced as far as location. And if you want to go into this, you can learn a whole bunch of shit, like all kinds of shit, just by understanding this concept, right? There's always a physical and a spiritual, and if you understand the physical, invert it, and you usually get the spiritual. You just need to find out whether something is masculine or feminine, find its opposite, combine them, and that's usually the truth. Does that make sense to you? And just because I'm talking about like planets and that shit, I'm not a pagan, obviously. I renounce any pagan beliefs. Also, any fertility cults I'm not with, just want to say that. Neither of those things acknowledge the actual giver of life. They worship things like the body and planets. Planets are not gods. Planets are wandering stars, you could say, created by God for us. I serve and worship the creator of those things. So we could correlate a lot of things, everything, with this information. And we might get into that sometime, but for now we're just going to look at the two halves of the brain and their purpose in this marvelous discovery, okay? We made the general point, left and right brain have correlations. Left brain controls the right half and vice versa. This is the reason for the inversion of reality. That's literally why. It's not the world's upside down, it's that your brain is inverted and it sees things from that perspective. These two minds, right? You start off as one subconscious mind, not unconscious, that's the void. Subconscious mind. And then these two minds are separated after the eating of the fruit. And there's a reason why I say that's eating of the fruit is what does this. There's a good reason why. And then after that, right, after these two minds are separated, one dominates the other, right? And the goal is to merge them or to never have them separate, but that's like impossible. To be single-minded, right? If you have two minds working against each other, both of them wants their own thing, you're going to spin in circles. You have to merge them. Work out your salvation. It turns out, though, that the left brain, the ego, is the masculine and is usually the dominant one. The right brain is the feminine and it's less dominant. It won't force you, right? You have to want it. The right brain is the woman, the house of the cerebrum. No, cerebellum. Yeah, it's Abraham and Sarah. Cerebrum, Abraham, cerebellum, right? Cerebrum is Abraham the man, cerebellum is the woman. The cerebellum, the right, is the house of God, the city of God. When we identify as the left brain, the ego, we separate ourselves from God, the carnal mind. It's enmity against God. It is not subject to God's laws, and it cannot be. It's an animal. The thing that I hate, right? The thing that I hate about this is that the subconscious still manifests the reality, right? Even if you 100% are ego, your subconscious mind will still manifest the reality, right? Because God still gives you what you desire. You're his creation. He loves you regardless, like a father. Um, and what makes me sad, the reason I hate it is because even though that's true, people still reject and ignore him. It's insanity. Let's see here. Sorry, I keep saying I'm in a Kroger parking lot waiting for my mother-in-law to get done shopping. But so this is what I'm talking about, right? This man wants to be the ego and reject God who dwells in the subconscious mind, right? This is depicted beautifully, right, and irrefutably in a painting, right? This painting is called Creation of Adam. You know what it is? It's where Adam's on the rock and he's reaching for God, and God's in the cloud and he's reaching for Adam. A lot of people said that, oh, God's in a brain, right? And if you look at the image, you'll see that it kind of looks like God is in a brain. But the thing that, sorry, one sec. The thing that people never noticed was that Adam is in a brain too, because it's two halves of the brain. I'm getting a picture. So, what you'll notice is, shit. Alright, a lot of people said that in this image, God is in the brain. But what they missed was that Adam is too. Let's take a look at this picture real quick here. They're both in a brain. Now, what I'm going to point out here is you see Adam's arm, how he's just laying there, not reaching, but God is reaching full body toward him like a dive, and Adam is laid back, not really reaching, right? So, that's why I hate that picture. Damn it, already at 20 minutes. So, what they missed, right, is Adam is in an earthly brain, right? Man in the ego. He's on the ground. The half of the mind with... He's on the ground. The half of the mind with God is in the air. Air is symbolic for spirit. They also seem to miss that God is surrounded by women and children. If you want to back up and look, whatever. It's the feminine mind. The child and the woman are the same. The reason that I hate the painting is because, like I said, God is reaching full body for Adam. God desperately wants to reach man, his creation. But Adam is laid back, chilling with his finger, not reaching for his creator. And that's why I fucking hate that picture. I love the painting, right? It's beautiful. But I hate the truth behind it. Anyway, let's separate these halves real quick. To put it simply, one of the most important functions of the left brain is to form strategies, use analytical and logical skills. People with left brain domination use logic whenever they intend to solve any problem. Left brain is math and language and logic, right? Now the opposite, the functions of the right brain are typically classified as the feeling function. Right brain functions may include understanding the meaning behind how things work or why they exist, the ability to see the big picture and be a forward thinker, as well as the capacity for an active imagination. Likewise, the right side of the brain is also believed to be responsible for understanding concepts such as religion and philosophy. These logical left brain thinkers will never understand it. The ability to appreciate and or create music and art is thought to be based on the right. It's the right side of the brain. To note here, right, keep in mind that the real you is inside of you and is the one who is the right brain, right? The right and the left brain are separate beings altogether. It's a separate person. The person is the one who is being sung about in every song you can think of, right? Songs ain't about boyfriend and girlfriend. Rarely, right? Rarely is a song actually about a woman that left someone, okay? What they're actually singing about is that woman, the right brain, that creative. Yeah, that's what they're singing about. All the way back to Leonard Skinner. I gotta find my baby. That's what he's talking about. I'm telling you, this is it. All of the songs about mothers and lovers who left, they're singing about that right brain. Because when you get stressed out, overworked, anxious, or sad, mad, all that type of shit, you can't. You have to be at peace. You have to let not your heart be troubled. It's the home of Jesus, right? The kingdom of heaven. So in short, the left brain does logic and reasoning, the right brain does art and emotion. Now, people are trained by society to never use the right brain, to never feel, right? There is, the left brain actually has a cheap copy of emotions, right? And those are, when you're angry from an ego, right? You're angry because something didn't go the way you wanted it to. Those aren't feeling, right? There's a difference between feeling and emotion. Emotion is false, ego protecting bullshit. Feeling is deeper than that. Feeling is what I like. Feeling is wonderful. People are trained to not feel. They're trained to react emotionally, but that is not feeling. Let's see. It should be evident, though, from what we've said here, that the marriage of these two is what it should be, right? And the right brain, the lamb, slain from the foundations of creation, you, slain from the beginning of you, that is the right being. The other half, the one you were told to not be, right? That's the right brain. Fear makes him hide, and I say him because I'm a man, but it's the woman. The woman and the are the same thing. But fear makes him hide, right? And again, your eyes belonged to that Son of Man before you became conscious, right? As like an adult. And that's why we make sure your camp is clean. Otherwise, the Lord will turn away from you. So, these two, right? These two beings, you and the other, they have their own perceptions. I said that wrong. You're separate, so to speak, right? It's left and right brain, and they both talk to you, and you choose which one to listen to, okay? It's really hard to explain some of this shit. These two have their own perceptions as well, right? The left brain thinks of everything as independent and that shit, but the right brain sees clearly and sees everything in the big picture, right? The left brain zooms in on minute details. The right brain sees everything clearly, okay? Whether everything knows it or not, the right brain sees everything as singing praise to the Father, because it does. The Father, who is in every man, right? Talking about God here, not your dad. Who is in every man, in the subconscious mind, creates everything. And the ego is controlled by the subconscious mind, right? This is the point of the light shined on the darkness, but the darkness comprehended it not. The subconscious mind is the light. The ego is the darkness. The subconscious shines on the ego, but the ego has no fucking idea about anything other than, how can I stay alive? You must lose your life to save it. Anyway. The subconscious is where we start, and the conscious is developed from that. So, the subconscious mind can see totally. It can see around every corner of the conscious mind. But the conscious mind cannot comprehend the subconscious mind. Men chose the darkness. They chose the ego. They chose the outer planets. They chose death. They separated from the source of creation, right? And they like it to stay that way. Now, I've said many times that everything in the Bible, everything is within the Bible. Any question you have, it's in there. The law, right, correlates, all law correlates to this information directly, as does astrology and anatomy, obviously. The body is just an image of the brain. They are all manifestations of the subconscious mind, which uses the same pattern, it would seem. All manifestations of the subconscious mind brought to consciousness and made using the same pattern. The law is anatomy. Anatomy is law. Law is astrology. Astrology is law. That's how it works, right? It's amazing. It's like dual fractals. It's definitely dual, right? And it's definitely a fractal. The universe, right, is a big body. That big body, that is the universe, is an image of the earth. The earth is an image of the mind, and the mind is an image of the law. It's all the same story on different scales. Everything I just said there is also an image of the ancient mythologies, because every ancient mythology is about what I'm telling you right now. Alright. It's all the same story on different scales. The measure of the scale is what changes, right? And I think that that's based on the Fibonacci. I'm not sure, but all these numbers in nature, they apply to everything. It's just converting the information to a format where it can be applied to law and psychology. Like, we know how a plant grows, but if we could take that information and apply it to psychology, we would know how a human mind develops. We could take that same information and apply it to the law, whatever. That's the hard part, though, is converting the information. But the method is consistent across all of creation. So, I gave a brief little bit of my testimony in the last video, and I spoke, right, about how I heard this voice, right, that wasn't a voice. Anyway, I heard my heart, right, which is the subconscious mind, and it was my heart was talking to my brain, right, and I understood it, but it wasn't words. I think the reason is because the right brain doesn't use language. It uses energy and feelings, right? And the left brain, that's what it sent, was energy and feeling. And the left brain was able to interpret that energy and feeling and make it understandable, right? And it's hard to explain. A lot of this is. But step one was shutting my mind down. Shut that motherfucker up. You can't feel, not emotion, you can't feel or hear the right brain when the left brain is analyzing everything in minute detail. That's what I did. It never shut up. I was always thinking and studying something, super into it. You just gotta fucking relax. So part of the reason that I made this is because people who have seizures a lot, right? They have this operation done. And in this operation, they cut the wires between the two halves of the brain. And this is the amazing discovery thing that I mentioned. The left and right brain operate separately, right? In my opinion, you choose what I said before. You're the one who chooses which one to listen to. Think of the shoulder angel and the shoulder devil. You know what I'm talking about? Truth drop. Anyway, if you ask a question to someone who's had this operation done, both halves will answer separately. And they'll give you different answers because there's two different beings there. Only the left brain uses language, so it can't speak, you know. But there's experiments that have tested this, and it is absolutely fascinating. If you like psychology, you should really look into this. I'd like to talk about it. But even as I type this, I know that I took too long already. I just know it. Let's see where we're at. 30 minutes. Took too long already. I'm glad she's taking her time. But one thing I want to add, right? I'm trying to finish this up. So, in one of these tests, right? They cut the wires. They was asking someone questions. They asked the right brain about its sex. The right brain identified as a female, as a woman. You get it? Like, that's... Of course, the dude giving the test was like, oh, it's got a sense of humor. Nah, bro. That's because Psalm 46:5, God is within the woman. She will not be moved. The woman is the right brain, the subconscious mind, the heart. Correlate. This, right? This is, in my opinion, the most important thing in the world, right? There's nothing more important than this. How could there be, really? The right brain, the woman, the mother of all free men. This is Jerusalem, the fortified city atop a hill. The hill or the mountain is the feeling. When the feeling, the emotion is right, you can access the city. And that's why I made a video about navigating the mind. The emotions and feelings are vessels, right? The emotions and the feelings are vessels on the road, right? And this road leads to heaven or hell. If you take a road that's going to lead you to a very sad and angry place, you're on the way to hell. But if you choose to see things differently, from a different perspective, the right brain perspective that sees everything as worshiping God, even the mountains sing praise, you're on the right path. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to link some videos to this shit because it's amazing. If you care about this, you should watch them. It isn't something that most people know. Most people don't care. They don't care about shit, but they make sure they can keep up with the Kardashians. I'm sure you know how it is. This is one of the things I wish I could teach the world, right? And also learn more about it. So, if you identify as what the world tries to make you and tell you you need to be, you'll never be able to get into the city. That's just what it is. You just relax and be you. So, one other thing to add here, 90% of the successful music is the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit, God, Jesus, is the right brain, the art brain, right? That's that. If you who's watching this, if you are creation, you are it. The Holy Spirit sings to you, basically. That might have been a stretch. My bad. Everyone is separate, right? Separate in this ego mind. But we're also connected by the subconscious mind. Each person has to build a connection with their maker, right? Who's in the subconscious mind. This is infinitely complex, which is my favorite stuff to talk about. But this symbolism is everywhere, no matter what. This is the basics of reality. No matter where you go, this is what it's talking about. All of life is symbolic of this. The reason man marries a woman, and the reason the Washington Monument is in a Vesica Pisces, right? And it's this. It's about left brain, right brain come together, make a whole man. Also, the Washington Monument, 666 feet tall, symbolizing the physical, the world, the flesh bag. And it's in a Vesica Pisces because it's a penis and a vagina, right? That's the male and the female merged in this realm is marriage and sex, right? It's still symbolic of the masculine and the feminine coming together to create a whole, which still is singing praise to God. But if you're in that left brain, you'll swear up and down it's Illuminati, Satan, 666, New World Order. You know what I mean? I do it sometimes. But God, right? The creator of everything, the only God, the God of the living, the God of creation, not destruction. Creation is the being within that subconscious mind, the right hemisphere, who knows all, future and past. It provides you with what you need based on what's coming, right? God knows everything. The subconscious mind created this. It knows what's coming. It's going to give you what you need. It provides you with what you need based on what's coming. But you need to trust yourself. You're in good hands. To confirm that, let's consider this, right? And this will help with the idea that life is fractal. You are a creation, right? You yourself, you are the creation. And where did you come from? The father and the mother, I get that. But it was the Christos, semen, the Son of God, the source of creation. It's what feeds your dreams that you then manifest. So that's pretty much it. Personally, I want a better world, and maybe it can't get better. I just want to perceive it better. But I want it to be better for everybody, and knowledge of these mysteries is how that happens. So we solve them. And everything I said here is what the Bible is about. It's all confirmable with the Bible. This is what it's about. Even, right, not just the Bible, all holy texts, right? Even the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. The Halls of Amenti, that's about sex. Later on down the road in the book, it says there was like 14,000 years before the women showed up, right? The woman, in this physical, earthly sense, means those overwhelming emotions, right? Not feeling, the emotion. That's what the woman symbolizes in the physical. Yeah. People were balanced for a good long time, and then this ego developed and began to take over, and society turned into what it is now. Anyway, it's all about that, though. Everything. Casting out of the Christos is casting out of life. It means I reject life. And then you follow these fucking statutes and you're basically dead. But like I said, the things mentioned in this video are the underlying reality. It's the truth underneath everything. Nothing is outside of this information. How could it be, right? It also applies to the unseen realms, which we can learn about by correlating what we can see to what we cannot see, because it's a fractal. Like seasons, right? Seasons are 3 months, and 3 months long, and there's 4 of them, right? Summer, spring, winter, fall. The zodiac works the same way. The giant sky clock, yeah, it works the same way. So do ages of man. Looking at the age we're in tells us what age is to come. And that's how we prophesy. But I missed the part here. So it's divided into each season of the 4 seasons is divided into 3 months, right? The season is created the first month, sustained in the second month, and then it dies out in the third. Man and the zodiac and everything works the same way. It's a fractal. Looking at the ages, we can see that. But I don't do the whole prophesy thing because I don't want to mislead people. But that's it, guys. Peace out. Love you all.